Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So I just got done watching the first official press conference for Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. And it was good, man. It was decent. It wasn't a whole lot of like drama or, it wasn't a whole lot of like back and forth talking between the two fighters. There was a lot of respect between both guys. Ryan Garcia kind of did allude to a lot of the stipulations that Gervonta Tank Davis, being the A side in this fight, had put in the contract, like the catch weight, the rehydration clause in the contract, and just different things like that. But he also got up there and said, "Hey, look, I'm not just doing this for myself, because if I was, I would have said no to all of the bullshit, all of the catch weight, rehydration, the fact that both the rematch would have to be on Showtime as well. Like all of those things. If I was just doing this for me, I would have said no. But I'm doing this shit not only for myself, but for the fans, for the sport of boxing. And I got to give Ryan Garcia his credit for that. I got to give Ryan Garcia his kudos and his props. Now, again, Ryan Garcia has been known to pull out of fights. Hopefully he sees this one all the way through. I think he will. I think he done reached the point of no return where it's like, all right, now it's that time, bro. Like, I can't do no more playing, no more bullshitting, bro. It's either I'm ready or either I'm ready now or I'm never gonna be ready. So I think that's the approach that Ryan Garcia is taking, and I commend him for that. It shows a big sign of maturity. And it shows that he's taking his career in his own hands now, and he's daring to be great. So I commend Ryan Garcia for that. Gervonta Tank Davis, again, I've been just so impressed and harping on the maturity that I've seen Tank exude over the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, every year, every time I see him, he just seems to be more mature, more locked in, more focused. And I love that for Tank Davis, because I think he's an incredible fighter. And I am a believer in Tank Davis, the fighter. I believe in his skill set. I'm a believer in Tank Davis, the star, the personality, the professional, the promoter. I believe in Tank Davis. I just think he can be all that and more. And where he's at right now mentally and from a maturity perspective, that's exactly where he's supposed to be. And I think Tank Davis is in that perfect spot to take his career to that next level of superstardom, of household name notoriety. That's why I see Tank Davis taking this. And like I said, the maturity that he showed in this press conference and, all the way leading up to it, it's been a sight to see. You could tell that he's calm, he's focused, he's locked in. He's not taking Ryan Garcia for granted. He's not overlooking Ryan Garcia, even though he is gonna be a heavy favorite in this fight. I personally think that he's in every category from an attribute standpoint. I think Tank Davis is a better fighter than Ryan Garcia. So with him coming into this fight being a huge favorite, it just shows, the focus and the maturity that, the way he's talking about Ryan Garcia, not overlooking him, and he's gonna be prepared for this fight. I liked what I heard from both trainers, Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Joe Goosen. I like what I heard from both guys. Coach Calvin Ford got a little bit emotional when he was talking to the gentlemen from the Morning Combat podcast, right before the actual press conference started. And you could tell that he's happy for Tank and he's excited to be here. And they did everything that they needed to do up until this point to prepare for this moment. I think both fighters going to come into this fight as ready as they going to be. I thought the face-off energy was dope. I think we got a little bit of everything in this press conference. Like I said, it wasn't a whole lot of drama, but during the face-off at the end, they, both guys chomping at the bit, talking they shit to each other, and just looking like that they can't wait to get in the ring and put hands on each other. And that's the type of energy that you want to see in any fight, but especially a fight of this caliber and this magnitude. Now, what does this fight being made means for boxing as a whole? What does it mean for other big fights? I think it's huge. I think Showtime and Golden Boy, GTD, Showtime, Golden Boy, even DAZN, because DAZN having a deal with Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia, them being open to allowing Ryan Garcia to go over to Showtime and have this match with Tank Davis, and the fact that this is a fight that people been wanting to see for a long time. Is one of those fights. It was two guys on different platforms, two guys with different promoters and with different advisors, and two high profile fighters. For them to be able to come together and make this fight, I think it really sets the standard for other fights to come, like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, who have been reportedly in negotiations, right now to try to get that fight done, even though Errol Spence is, I believe he's going to still fight Keith Thurman, and Terrence Crawford has been ordered to fight Rocha. But from what I'm hearing, they're working to close the deal on that fight on the back end of their upcoming fights, the same way that Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia did. Now, of course, after Tank Davis fought Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia set out and didn't take a fight, which showed that he was serious about making that fight with Tank Davis, there was still a little bit of turbulence and bullshit going on, but ultimately they got it done. But it seems that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is kind of taking that same approach. They both got fights coming up, but let's go ahead and iron this shit out. So after we done with our next fights, we can go straight into it with no extra bullshit and just get this over with. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's the type of energy that their peers are taking in, fights that we want to see that we just haven't been able to close the deal on. And we all know that the highest profile one is the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight. But what about the Dimitri Bivol and the Artur Beterbiev fight? That's another one. Those guys have been champions at 175 longer than the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford together. And that they could have been made, those guys could have been fought and unified, and it's time to make undisputed now. So, I just think it's time for all of these fights that we've been wanting to start getting closer and closer to reality. And I think this is a big step towards that. Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia coming together to make this fight. So I'm excited. I thought the press conference was dope. This is just my overall review of what I saw. I look at body language. I look at, different things like that. Body language and what guys are saying, that stuff starts to have more significance as the fight gets closer, like fight week, the actual weigh-in, the very last press conference before the fight, shit like that. But right now, this is more of just like a preliminary or fill out, just to kind of get everybody's initial thoughts. And I thought it was dope. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Number one, what did you think about the press conference? What did you get from Tank Davis? What did you get from Ryan Garcia? Did anything that you saw in that press conference sway your decision on who you're picking to win? And then the next question is, what does this mean for other big fights in boxing? Does this help push the sport forward, or do y'all think it's still gonna be the same bullshit we've been getting over the last 5 to 10 years? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.